Evening all. Busy day. Here, there and everywhere. So I left Glencoe and now we're up in Kintail. You've got the Five Sisters of Kintail, so we're up there. We're kind of decided on one for tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm up here with my mate Gordy, and haven't seen him for a while, so we've had a good old catch up and a bit of banter. And he's gave me a wee book, a wee pocket book, the Munros. It's an amazing wee book. I've actually never seen it before, so I'm going to get it. The Munros, look at the size of that. It's a wee tiny book, but it's got everything in it. It's absolutely chock-a-block with information and amazing images. So that's me sorted for the reading. He's not getting it back tonight. I'm just reading about some of my favourites. So Glencoe was getting busy, really busy, being the weekend. The weather's absolutely beautiful. So I pulled out of Glencoe and we came north, and we're the only people here by the looks of things. So tomorrow, early start, we've got a big day ahead of us, probably 20 kilometres thereabouts. And I think the peaks are about, you know, they're over 1,000 anyway. They're probably 1,100 metre peaks thereabouts. So we're going to try and bag a few of them tomorrow. Gordy's a charger, he charges on. I'm a plodder, I like detouring and going and looking in alternative routes off the beaten track. He's doing the Munros by number, he's bagging the numbers. Don't remember how many he's done, but he's done a lot, probably 100 plus easily, if not more. So we've had a good catch up anyway, and I was in Nevis Sports today at Fort William when I passed through tonight, and I was asking a bit of information about the stuff in Ben Nevis the other day, and I think they gave me the wrong information. They said that there was a big rescue in Ben Nevis, for anyone that doesn't know, and I've spoke about it, and it prompted me to do a little kind of safety video about just the basics, something that people seem to be getting wrong. And the boys said that 3 people died, but one definitely died, because one boy, I think he was 28, fell 1,000 feet. I think he was killed instantly, as you could imagine. Very sad. And 2 were injured, but I don't think they died. I think they went to the hospital, and when I last read, it said that it wasn't critical. They weren't critically injured. They weren't, you know, badly injured. They were expected to make full recoveries or thereabouts. So I think their information was a wee bit out, but that can happen. But I've recorded about 11 deaths in the past, you know, 4, 5, 6 weeks, which is shocking. And the party that were on Ben Nevis the other day, they were approximately 26 handed, and they got disorientated near the summit. From what I gather, they were very under equipped. They had no proper mountaineering kit, no proper Gore-Tex kit, nothing. They had no warm kit. I don't think they had any decent food. More importantly, they had no navigational experience at all, none. I don't think they had a map or a compass between them. It probably cost several £1,000s to launch the chopper. Well, it does. You know, every time that chopper goes up, it costs thousands of pounds in fuel alone. And I don't think that these people would have realised the predicament they were in. I passed the bend today and I took some footage of the North Face, the CMD, the Cairnmore Derg Cairnmore Derg is known as the CMD in the climbing kind of community. It's got an arete, or an arete, it's got like a route on it, a ridge kind of route to the summit. I did it a few months ago, and it's pretty epic. It's an incredible way to climb the Ben. It's very exposed. There's a lot of risk involved in the winter with snow. You've got to be cramponed up, you've got to have ice axes, and it takes a certain level of determination and skill and grit just to go along it. It's a tricky old route, but it's a phenomenal way to see the Ben. And yeah, if you're ever going to do it, and you can get, if you don't have the experience, get someone to take you on that route. It's the way to see it, because the tourist route up Ben Nevis, which I call the donkey track, is really quite, it's dull. It's not very exciting, and yeah, it's pretty monotonous, but it's there for a reason, and it attracts hundreds of thousands of people a year, so it serves its purpose well, and it's quite safe as well. It's pretty well maintained. It's just that there's other better routes up for people with more experience. But those people that were rescued up there, I've been trying to find out information, not for any other reason than I'm intrigued by what went wrong. I like to know what went wrong, because these things, you have to learn from them. And I think it's crazy that 26 people had to be taken off who were by all accounts incapable of getting themselves down. Now, if you're incapable of getting yourselves down off the mountain, I don't think you should be up the mountain. I can understand a couple of people in a company being unfit or getting disorientated, or possibly getting separated from a group if a group's moving at too quick a pace for its weakest members. But what I can't abide by is the fact that almost 30 people had to be lifted. Where does it end? Because the mountain rescue teams, Lochaber, Glencoe, they're getting run off their feet, and they're going out and doing it for nothing. And I don't think people realise that the danger they're putting other people in that are out to rescue them. I've spoken about this a couple of videos ago, and I just can't get my head around it. So I had made the point of getting in and asking, because you would expect in Fort William, you know, they're at the foot of the Ben, and Nevis Sports has been there forever, and it's a bit of a mecca for the climbers, and you would expect the right information, but I don't think 3 people did die. I certainly hope 3 people didn't, and I hope those 2 that were injured haven't succumbed, and I haven't read it. It's not, that information's not online, so I'm not sure about that. But I was more intrigued in what went wrong, and at what stage did they call in the rescue. Did they immediately panic and call the rescue, or had they been up there and exposed for a while? From what I gather, they had been to the summit and crossed over towards the north face, the extreme side of Ben Nevis, the side you don't see from the tourist route. You would only see that from the CMD route. It's an extreme, it's a very hostile environment. It's extremely steep. It's all drop-offs, it's gullies, all the ice climbers go there. It's a very, very exposed route, and you wouldn't set foot near it without high level climbing experience and kit, i.e. ropes. It's not a place for bimbling up and wandering around and looking over edges. You know, it's 1,000 feet straight down in places. So I'm intrigued, because I like to learn where people are getting it wrong, because that's where we need to teach from. If we can find the repeated mistakes people are making. I think the first mistakes are made at the bottom of Ben Nevis, when people underestimate it. They park their cars, the sun's shining, it's 14, 15, 16 degrees, and they think, oh, lovely day, I'll throw a hoodie on, I'll tie something round my waist, and I'll get up there, and by 3/4 of the way up they start to feel the chill, but they say, well, I'm nearly at the top, you know, I've only got another 300 metres to go, I'll just do it. And it rapidly drops that next few hundred metres, because when you approach 900 to 1,000 metres up, the temperature's 10 plus degrees colder than the bottom. And if you haven't got a carbohydrate intake, or you're lacking fluids or salts or electrolytes or anything at all, and you don't have backup like food, like gel sachets, chocolate, some bananas, you know, starchy potassium type stuff, you'll get hypoglycemic and you will stagger all over the place, and you'll wander off the track, and you'll wander right over a precipice or right over a cornice or something, and that'll be the end of it. But for almost 30 people to do that, something major has occurred. Or is it a case of 24 or 25 of them were relying on one person's knowledge, and that one person was the guy that inadvertently got killed? That's a possibility, but that's speculation. And the fact is, a guy's lost his life. I don't want to speculate because it's tragic and his family will be devastated. But we need to learn, because we spend time up in these hills and these environments, and I go out myself, I get an enormous number of people asking me to take them out. That makes me responsible for their safety. It makes me responsible for getting them up and getting them down. And if I was going to do it, it would be after May, when the weather's slightly more on your side, and I wouldn't be taking any novice up Ben Nevis even in June or July, because it can still snow and it can still be minus, and it can still throw up horrific weather, and it is the biggest mountain in Britain, and it's classed, you know, it's classed as hardcore for a reason. It's a big day out. You could be 3-4 hours up, depending on your level of fitness. There's nothing easy about it. It's not a walk in the park. It's very steep. It's hard going underfoot. There's a lot of traversing, so you're building up the distance because you're traversing the mountain. It's not a path that just goes like that straight up. It zigzags for hundreds of metres left and right, and you know, there's a big plateau where you cross and you come back up on yourself. I don't know, guys. There's loads of people asking to come out. I'm on a journey where it's me myself basically when I do these things, because I like my own zone. And when I'm up there, I detour and I go off the track, and I go into areas that I'm testing myself in, so I know my abilities and I know my levels, and it's built up over years. It's built up over 20 plus years of experience, so I don't want to be responsible for someone else, and they're ultimately holding me back, or I'm ultimately dragging them somewhere that they're not comfortable with. So what I might do is I might offer a couple of group meetings, maybe after May time, where I'll give a location, and you know, the first half a dozen people that agree to come, we'll meet there and we'll do something, and I'll take these up safely and I'll return these safely to the meeting point, and you can get yourselves up the road, and I'll throw in a cup of coffee and a cake. But I won't be taking out individuals one-on-one. I won't be doing that. I've been asked several times. I won't be doing that. If you do want to do it, there are a lot of notable guides. There's guides in the Cairngorms, there's guides around Glencoe, and there's guides up around Skye and places like that. There's great guides, registered guides with huge amounts of experience, and you know, they're insured and all the rest of it. It's not something I've thought about yet, and it's not something that I've considered much. I tell a lie, I have thought about doing it, but then what I'm doing becomes a job, and at this moment in time, I'm doing this for a very different reason. So I won't be rushing into that. But I'm interested in doing some group stuff under my kind of wee headspace idea that I had last year, where, you know, it is all about mental health. It is all about bettering oneself and taking you out your comfort zones and building up your confidence, and everything I promote is about confidence building, and it's about, you know, exposing yourself to things that aren't comfortable and overcoming them, and I'll provide the tools for that and teach you the tools how to do it. I know what I've achieved with, you know, with altering my mindset and viewing things differently. Basically, instead of looking at something as that it's a danger and it's going to kill me, I look at it as a fence that I can climb over if I think about it, and I'll put a little bit of planning in place. I don't fear it. I don't see it as a, you know, I've changed the objective. I don't look at it and go, wow, that's overwhelming me. I say, well, not. I make it smaller and I make it easier with my mindset, and that's how I get there. It's a lot more in depth than that. That's me just summing it up. But I fancy the group thing. I think I could do it once or twice a month. I couldn't do it every week. I don't want to be around people that often. Don't be offended. But I like my space, and I like having no plan and not being bound by the clock. My clock is set by nature, so it's whatever and it's whenever for me. And I understand not everyone's got that. People need to work to timings. I don't, thankfully, just now, so through choice. But anyway, so for all of those asking, I don't really respond because I try not engage too much, because it's kind of entering into contract with somebody when you acknowledge and say, yeah, we'll do something in it. I will do it, but just, I would rather maybe do a wee group thing first. 3 or 4 people, happy to take yous out. 5, 6 is maybe too many. 3 or 4 is the perfect number. It's manageable, and I can get yous up and I can get yous safely to an objective and get yous back again. We would move at the speed of the slowest person, and if someone got sore, we would all have to turn back. If you wanted to carry on your own, you would have to do it at your own decision, and at that moment there'd be no contract with me. You know, I would say, yeah, I'll get you up and I'll get you back, but if you go yourself, you go on your own. That's just the facts of it. So I'll put a wee post on and I'll see if there's interest, and if there is interest, then we might just agree a wee date very soon. If you turn up with no kit and the wrong kit and trainers on and stuff, you'll be sitting in the car. I won't even set off with somebody without the right kit, because it would mean me cokie backing you all the way home. I'm not prepared to do that unless you're paying me an awful lot of money, because that's a chore and a half. But we'll worry about that later. So it was a wee catch up. We're up here in Kintail. We've got some incredible mountains to climb tomorrow, and the clock is ticking. I've had my porridge, I've had a milkshake, I've had a good catch up with my mate. I'll brew a cup of tea, I'll brush my teeth, and it'll be heads down, and it'll be an early start. And there's no real signal here, so this will be uploaded tomorrow at some point. The signal here is really poor, but I'm looking forward to a good day. The weather's been fantastic for a few days, but Glencoe was just getting far too busy with the weekend warriors, the sightseers, and they've got every right to be there. It's just that I prefer it slightly quieter, so they can have it all to themselves for a few days, and I'll catch it midweek or early next week. Anyway, guys, that's a bit of waffling. I'm going to get my head into this book because I love the look of it. The Munros, look at the size of it. It's a tiny wee thing, but it weighs a ton. It incredible information. I'm going to order it. Love the look of it. So good night, take care and all the rest of it. Okie doke. Thank you for listening and hit me back with any feedback. Cheers guys, night night.